Hey, I'm Michael Smith, CEO of Bluefield Realty Group, and last week we talked about the importance of conducting a title search and purchasing an owner's title insurance policy. And just to recap, a title search is something you do where you scour the public records to try and establish the chain of title and make sure that you have good, marketable claim to the property, and there's not someone else that can come out of the woodwork and make a claim that they own the real estate. So a title insurance policy is great for protecting you when these types of disputes might arise after closing. So if someone comes along a few months after you buy the house and say that they have a claim to the home, your title insurance policy is going to cover that. Now, as I mentioned last week, every once in a while, things will be uncovered during the title search before you close on the property that need to be addressed. Most of the time, these things are pretty simple and easy to fix. Here's an example. Let's say several transactions ago in the chain of title, it's uncovered that the owner signed a deed that maybe had the street name misspelled or the address number transposed. Maybe they meant to sell 123 Main Street, but the deed said 132 Main Street. If we can track down that prior owner and get them to sign a corrective deed, then the problem goes away. However, sometimes it's a little more complicated than that. Let's say this property had previously sold at a tax sale, or maybe a prior owner had passed away and it's not clear that all of their potential heirs had been reached out to and notified. When something like this happens, the best course of action is to file an action to quiet title. This is actually a lawsuit that gets filed through the courts, and it can take 2 to 3 months, sometimes even longer. Sometimes these can actually take up to a year to be done correctly. And the cost of hiring an attorney and filing this action can be several thousands of dollars. However, sometimes it's the only way to really ensure that you have a valid claim on the property and that no one else is going to be able to come out of the woodwork with a legitimate claim on the real estate. So when you're filing an action to quiet title, there are really two outcomes. The action can be contested or uncontested. If the action is not contested, you simply wait a certain period of time and then you get the order in your favor. If it is contested, that's where you would have to go before the judge with evidence. You essentially have to prove that you have a better claim to the real estate than this other individual who's come out saying that they have some type of claim to the property. So when all is said and done, if you either wait the appropriate period of time for an uncontested action to quiet title, or you win in court when the action is contested, you're going to get a court order that gets recorded in the public records that says you now have a valid, legitimate claim to the property, clear and marketable title, and from that point, no one can come out of the woodwork claiming that they have a more legitimate claim. Now, it's worth noting that when these types of defects are uncovered during a title search, you're not going to be able to get a title insurance policy on the property until they've been resolved through an action to quiet title. So if you're planning on using a mortgage to purchase the property, you're not going to be able to close until it's been resolved. If you're able to pay cash and you're willing to take the risk to go ahead and buy the property and then deal with the quiet title action on your own afterwards, it may not be advisable, but if that's the road you decide to go down, I would just advise that as soon as the action is complete and you're able to, get an owner's title insurance policy put on the property. So this has been a really brief overview of an action to quiet title and how it can be used to establish good, clear, marketable title on a piece of real estate when there are some complicated defects that might arise during the title search. I want to make note that I'm not an attorney, so if you find yourself in this situation, I strongly recommend you consult legal advice. But if you do have some general questions, whether about title search, title policy, or an action to quiet title, we'd be happy to connect with you. Feel free to call us or email us. We'd love to start the conversation and then point you in the direction of an attorney. At Bluefield Realty Group, we strive to be your guide through the real estate process, minimizing stress and maximizing results. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.